Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admins. The message reads like this. Good morning, Brother Nashi. I have my own story that I want to share with you. My story is about how my private parts disappeared. This was after I had dated this man who was a married guy. I am writing this email to you because I need your help. Please post for me on your platform and try to keep me as anonymous. Those who know anyone who can help me, please, you can leave a comment and I will read. Brother Nashi, I am a Xhosa lady from the Eastern Cape. I came to Johannesburg. This was a few years ago, and this was after a friend of mine had introduced me to this other couple. This couple, they needed a child minder, and I used to stay in Hillbrow, and the couple had a beautiful home. This was in Parktown. I come from Deep Makaya, and it was my first time to be in Johannesburg, and I was impressed with the lifestyle that this couple had. The wife was Sutu and the husband, he was Pedi, he was from Limpopo. They welcomed me into their home with so much love, and I started my job, and I was very excited to be working for this couple as I had left my child with my mom. Being a single mom was not easy for me, hence I had to work and send money to my mom. They would go to church each and every Sunday, but I noticed that there was something wrong about this couple. This couple was not liked by the in-laws, especially the wife. She was the one who was not loved by her in-laws because she didn't have any boy child. She was a girl's mom, and the mom would come and fight with the Makoti every now and then. Then one day, the mom-in-law visited again, and we started to talk, and she asked me if I had any children, and I told her yes, I had one child, and she was so much happy to know that this child of mine was a boy. She kept on saying that I can see that you have that seed of giving birth to baby boys only. She would laugh when she would be pointing at my flat tummy. Ever since that day, she started to respect me, and within a few days, she had departed. Little did I know that she had sown the seeds of love in her son's heart. And like you know us, we Xhosa women, we are very beautiful. We are built with a good figure, tall, flat tummy. You will not even believe that I had given birth before. I may sound like I am blowing my own trumpet, but my body is well built and I have a fat in all the right places. I worked wholeheartedly and loved Star. Star was their youngest child. She was a joy to be around. The kids were always at school. Besides, they were well-mannered children who cleaned after themselves, so the job was a breeze. During the day, I will usually spend the whole day alone with Star, and I would go on with my daily chores without any disturbances at all. Star had a routine that I followed to the T. So I knew what time she would take a nap and for how long, when to take a bath and feeding time as well as play time. However, I started to notice that the father, whom I'll call Swu, the man of the house, started to make frequent visits to the house. He would come back home citing that he had forgotten something. Some days it was his laptop, sometimes an important file, sometimes his phone. It was either this or that. Was the frequent trips back home intentional, or maybe they were just honest mistakes? I kept on asking myself, and one day that was when Spoo said something that was quite funny to me. Spoo said, I would love to have a son. Well, good luck, I said to him. Good luck, boss, I said to him. For fathering boys or girls has nothing to do with the mother, but it is all about the father, because the father is the one who gives the wife the seed. It is science. I said as I was laughing, it is not magic. I replied to him, but showing him a lot of respect. Wow, you are very intelligent. Spoo said to me, how did you find yourself in this situation, cleaning after another woman? I sensed that the way that he was talking about his wife, he was actually belittling his own wife. How did you find yourself in this situation? You seem to be very intelligent. I said, well, it is a very long story. So I had met Clive. Clive was my baby daddy whilst we were in high school. It was love at first sight when I had met Clive. We were so much young and we were in love. Our parents had tried to break us apart because they were saying that we were too young to understand what was the purpose of love. They thought that ours was nothing but puppy love, and it was going to fade away as we will both be growing older. But they were wrong. The more that they resisted, the more that they fought with us, the more that we saw that they were against our relationship, the more our bond grew. We both passed our high school with flying colors. And as for Clive pursued civil engineering, whilst I went to a local college to train as a teacher. As for my parents, they could not afford to have me in university as they had other younger children, my siblings, who wanted to be also taken care of. Beside Clive came from a well-up family, so the issue of tuition fees was nothing to his parents. We both finished our courses, and as fate would have, we then bumped into each other and we continued exactly where we had left off. I married Clive and I went to live with him and his parents. That was the biggest mistake of my life, because when I went to stay with my baby daddy's parents, it totally killed my marriage. I should have never agreed to stay with my baby daddy's parents because they were not nice at all to me. My father-in-law, he was a kind man. He was very nice to me and he treated me like I was like his own daughter. I had no complaints at all. My mother-in-law, she never liked me at all. From the word go, she thought that I was too low class for her son and that I was with him only for his money. But that was not the truth. Clive and I, we were really in love. Clive was the only thing that I had, and the problem was that he was the only son and his mother was very manipulative and controlling. She could not accept that her son was no longer a baby but was now a grown-up man who was capable of fathering his own children. Well, I soldiered on. But when my fortress, who was my father-in-law, my defender, when my father-in-law died, life took a turn for the worst. My father-in-law succumbed to colon cancer, and the day that we buried him, I saw that my marriage was over. Life started to be difficult for me. My mother-in-law's mother, Gogo, was now an old lady. She had to come to stay with us soon after my father-in-law had passed away. She said she needed to be with her daughter during her mourning period. Ugogo was not too old, but sometimes she would irritate me to my bones. At times she would lie that I was not giving her enough food. Sometimes what she would do is that she would go to the toilet and she will just use the toilet and put a used toilet paper on the floor. I complained to Clive about what our grandmother was doing, and Clive said that it was because of old age. He said to me, you need to look after her properly because you can see that she is quite old. But I noticed that whenever the helper who used to come, she used to come 3 times a week. Whenever she would come, this old lady, she would not do what she used to do. She will not throw used toilet paper on the floor. Why was she spiting me like this? Mother and Gogo started to gang up on me, spreading falsehood and rumors about me. Clive was too powerless to say anything when I was being ill-treated. One day, my mother-in-law and Ugogo threw me out with my son. and I was only 16 weeks pregnant. I told Clive what had transpired, and he said he was not in a good financial position to move out of his mother's house. It was a financial decision, not an emotional one. This was the decision that Clive took. That was the end of my marriage, and my journey to being a single mother had started. Clive never looked for us again, and I knew that I had to look for a job to feed my kid. That is what I was doing here, so that I can take care of my kid, I told my boss, Swu. And when I told him that this was my life story, he then said that you are a very strong woman. Swu said to me, all this will be a thing of the past. You are going to be a happy woman and forget all about your past. Spu said to me, I didn't need his pity. I refused to be pitied. It's life. And I said, life, I have moved on with my life. Spu started to shower me with gifts, perfume, some toiletries. Sometimes he would leave some money in his pocket. I would gather the money and hand the money to him. When he would come back home, he would say, you are too honest. He said to me, you can keep it. It is just small change, a drop in the sea. Was he leaving the money intentionally? Life continued until one day when I was cleaning downstairs, I heard people shouting on top of their voices. It seemed as if my boss lady and Spu, they were busy shouting at each other. They seemed to be fighting over something, and I decided to take the kids for ice cream so that they would not witness their parents fighting like that. It is bad for their emotional well-being. We came back with the kids. The wife was packing her bags, leaving. What could be the cause? Was it cheating? What had really transpired? I later discovered that Mampo was using juju and Swu was against all forms of juju. They kept on arguing until Spu said that he was not having none of it, and he said that he was actually doubting if he had truly loved Mampo, or maybe Mampo had been using all of this juju on him. That is how the marriage crumbled down to the ground, and the juju lover Mampo left her kids in my care. She said as she left, I do not want them to keep on reminding me of their father, because they looked a lot like their own father, because these kids, they were a spiting image of their father. A year passed after the divorce, and I continued doing my work as I would normally do when Mampo was around. Besides, the girls were just a joy to be around. They did not give me trouble at all. Spu had even invited my children to come and stay with me at the workplace, as he reasoned that I'll be less stressed when I have my kid around. He also treated my kid very well, and I did not have any complaints at all. One day from work, Spu came with two of his uncles, and he took me aside and he said that he wanted to talk to me privately. I need to prepare you for this big news. I have found a wife, someone that I have always loved since the first time that I laid my eyes on her. He said, she loves my kids as if my kids are her own kids, and I do not have any complaints regarding her character as well as her personality. Congratulations, boss. Congratulations, sir. This is me as I was responding to him. I even brought my uncles to set a date for the lobola negotiations. Well, I said, I can't wait to meet her, boss. She seems like she's a good person. Just tell me the date so that I will welcome her with a properly cooked meal. I laughed. There is no need for all of that, Spu said as he was looking at me directly into my eyes. I am looking at her right now. You have stolen my heart, he said, pulling out a ring out of his pocket. Marry me. Marry me. Let me become the happiest man in the world. Wow, I was speechless. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins.